We love a technological queenie. God, why isn't it working? Come on. Yes, haha, it's up, it's up, it's up. It's there. It's there. Yeah, here we go. It's working. God, I managed to mess that up, didn't I?
Oh yeah,
First.
Oh my god.
No, turn my voice off, please. Hey guys. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Look at this.
Imagine being this popular.
Hey. How is everybody? Too early for Merry Christmas. Honey, I'm in a last Christmas Wham t-shirt. I am festive. It's the 1st of December.
It's absolutely Christmas time. It's December now.
It's December, so it's not even, yeah, I was going to say, like, you can't say that it's too early for Christmas. Love your lights, thank you.
Say my name, Nazish. I have no idea.
My interview is Monday to Wednesday. Stress, good luck. Right, so now we should probably start. Right, so I have to, like, if I hold it, I can see. What do I say if the tutors ask me if I have any questions? Did you have any questions?
I definitely would ask them one, yeah, because it shows that you're interested. I'd take maybe 3 that you could possibly ask pre-prepared in. Otherwise, you will, like, just panic because you're under pressure. Of course you're gonna panic.
Yeah, I'd say yeah. Don't ask about the course content or structure because you should know that. I made that mistake. I panicked. I was like, also, like, I asked some question about the course, I think, for German. And that interview had gone so horribly. And then for my Spanish, I didn't ask a question after that. I think you could, like, you asking a question is not going to make or break whether you've got a place.
No, not at all.
But it can round off, like, a nice impression.
It basically could just make you look more enthusiastic if you asked quite an interesting question.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Let's have a look. Another question about interviews. How did you show your interest in the subject? Just read around your subject, watch documentaries, just stay in the loop. And, like, when you're talking about it, like, they'll be able to tell if you're passionate or not, or if you've just read it because you wanted to get in. So I think, yeah.
If you're doing a humanities or even like a science, keep up with the latest, like, updates in the field. Like, I do archaeology. I needed to keep up with, like, new discoveries and try and weave them in, because then you're obviously interested because you're keeping up. You're not just reading, like, really old stuff that everyone's already done.
Yeah. That is definitely a good idea. What should we do if we have a mental blank? You will.
Yeah, you will.
It's not an if, it's just a when. So, like, they will push you until you get to that point. If it's something that you're supposed to know, like a name and a text or a scientific figure, and you can't remember, take a breath and just be like, sorry, can I just have 2 seconds to think? And they literally will not care. Like, I think a lot of people forget that the interviews are as stressful for the tutors as they are for you, because they need to make sure that they're giving you a fair shot and that they're making the right decision. So if I had a mental blank, and I said to Ben, I was like, can I just need a couple of minutes, like, and I did take a few minutes at the end. It felt like a few minutes, but it must have been about 30 seconds. Then I came out with an answer. It was probably wrong, but it was an answer, and they'd rather you take a second.
Definitely.
It's weird because you have to get the balance between not being quiet for too long and thinking out loud, and not just blurting out the first thing that comes into your head.
Thinking out loud is probably the most important thing, because when you're in the interview, they already know that you're academically capable because they've read your personal statement, your grades, whatever you've submitted. What they're looking at is how you respond to them, be that in terms of how you can formulate an answer or how just you work with them as a person. So if you have a mental block, take a few seconds, just try and work your way through it out loud. Don't think, oh God, I need to think of an answer immediately. Just work yourself through these steps, and then they can see that you're processing it.
Yeah, definitely always about the logical process. So like if you say, if I don't know, okay, for example, don't be scared by this question, but I did get asked this, but it was out of a conversation, so don't think that it came out of nowhere. He basically asked me like, is poetry death? And that came out of a logical discussion, but that question, like, obviously the answer is no, right?
Is poetry
Right, is poetry death, right? So I was like, well, the answer is no, but if I'd have just gone no, like that's not a sign of a student that can like think on their feet.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, because X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, and justified my answer. And even though I didn't know what I was saying, as I was talking and I was thinking it through, I was like, oh wait, that links. Oh wait, that links. And like that is basically, yeah. Please, can you show us what thinking out loud is? I think, yeah, that is a point, because I think a lot of people say that.
Yeah. So basically, if you've got a thought process in your head and you're making connections between different subjects, or you're thinking of people you've maybe studied at A-level or even seen on TV that you think might relate, just talk yourself through it as if you're thinking yourself through it. So, for example, if I was to ask Eve something about a German writer that she might not have ever heard of before, but I could say, oh, he uses this technique in a poem, and I don't even know how these interviews work, but I pointed it out. Eve doesn't have to know the answer.
Yeah.
She can discuss what she sees, or...
So, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. So, like, say if I had a poem in front of me and he asked me a question, if I didn't know the answer outright, what you have to do is literally just look at what you have in front of you and what other knowledge you have and try to piece together an answer. So I don't know, for example, if he asked me about, I don't know, if he'd asked me about, let me try and think of someone, Schnitzler, who until now I'd never heard of. If I'd have had an extract from one of Schnitzler's plays, for example, and he'd have asked me a general question about Schnitzler, I know nothing about Schnitzler, right? So I would have had to have been like, well, I'm not too sure if this applies to Schnitzler's work as a whole, as I have to admit that I haven't read any.
Yeah.
But from what I've studied and from what I can see, this is what I think, which could link to this, which could link to that. Just bat around some ideas, like, and they could be wrong. But if you literally go, I don't know anything about Schnitzler, and you don't say anything else, because in tutorials you are going to get asked stuff that you don't know. Like literally all the time.
Completely. Like,
and you have to just pull stuff out of what you know.
I don't think I've been to a single tutorial where I could answer all the questions.
Yeah, literally, neither.
Daisy Tallulah, no, I have not come across the Bullingdon Club in all my 3 years. Don't worry.
Yeah, neither. I didn't even know what it was till like 2 weeks ago. Can you please? Where's the question? It was a good question. Can you please tell us what your answer was to the is poetry death question? So I won't lie to you, I have blocked out the majority of that interview. For me, all I can remember is my tutor's face absolutely terrifying me, a feeling of pure dread, and him asking me that question. But that question has got simplified from the long-winded question that it actually was to just him going, is poetry dead? As far as I remember, I said something like, no, because poetry is a type of literature and death is a state of being, and hence the two, the two.
That sounds very intelligent.
Yeah, I was like, well, death is literally like a physical state of being. Poetry is a type of literature, and hence the two can't be equated or compared. And I just spouted some shit for about 5 minutes about how poetry can explore death and how poetry can explore the theme of death, but poetry itself is not equivalent to death.
What would I say? I'd probably say, no, it's not death, because literature is an ongoing thing within society. It's central to society. Poems are very central to literature, so it's still alive.
You've reminded me. Yeah, I also said death is finite.
Mm-hmm.
Poetry lives on.
It's not, yeah.
That was basically what I said, which I thought at the time was like the stupidest thing I'd ever said. And now looking back, I'm like, okay, yeah, I thought on my feet. Just to say, you will probably come out of your interviews, like at least one, feeling like you've not got a place and that you fucked it up. Most people do. Like generally, like I think I've met about 3 people that are here that did not think that one of their interviews like went horrifically, or at least bad.
Of my interviews.
I sobbed so much after my first interview. I had my second interview 45 minutes later, and I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And I had to literally, I went back to my room in Sutherland over there. I like literally did this, and I like literally had to go straight back out.
Next one.
My second one was way better. But you know, it's just a stress. Well, actually, another question. What do I need to wear? Good question.
Literally anything. So, I mean, they say where you can wear sweatpants, but I mean, no, don't do that. Like, you could, and it wouldn't affect your chances on like a plain sheet.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, if you've turned up to an interview in joggers,
it's subconscious more than anything. Yeah.
You wouldn't feel like you were in the zone. I don't think.
I wore some jeans and like a blouse, like just a shirt, like a really casual one. It wasn't even fancy, and my Converse to both of mine, and that was fine. Some people wore like skirt and a jumper, tights, boots. I didn't see any guys in suits here, LMH, but since LMH is quite calm, whereas like probably at Christchurch or something.
Oh God, yeah.
Wear what you want though, wear what you feel comfortable in, but don't get too comfortable.
No.
But I was literally wearing jeans, jumper, Converse pretty much, like what I wear every day.
What did I wear? I had a checked dress on one day, and I think like I say a pencil skirt, but it was like a nice pencil skirt. I'm vlogged my interview experience and very much models the outfits. If you fancy typing in Hartford interviews,
oh my God,
into YouTube, you'll see that it's the worst video possibly ever made about Oxford.
Oh my God,
but it's still up,
still there. It's still there. How was your personal statement used in your interviews? So there is no thick and fast formula for this. So general rule, which does apply, I think, personally. Sciences, they really don't care. Humanities, much more likely to come up. Very much care about your personal statement. Sciences, it's very much about questions, how you answer questions. So for me, I'd prepared a lot more for my German personal statement. I knew my texts for German inside out, whereas Spanish, I was like, I'll just wing it, whatever, because I read them a lot like close to time. He mentioned my whole German. Oh my God, I'm triggered just talking about this. My whole German interview was literally based on this one poem. He did not mention my personal statement. The only time that my personal statement was mentioned was in the 5 minutes at the end where we had to talk in German, and the woman next to him goes, "So you've mentioned Kleist and Kafka on your personal statement," and she asked me the most abstract question about something about, I literally can't remember because this was just so traumatic. But it was something about what does literature teach us about the human condition or something like that. Anyway, and I was just like, right, well, that's got no relevance to the books that I've read. Whereas Spanish, she asked me about my handed-in reading. She asked me about every single text on my personal statement. Hard questions, definitely. One of the books was about an insane man in Argentina, and she asked me, "Is madness inherently Argentinian?" And I was just like, "Hold on."
Yes.
But yeah, so it depends, because my personal statement was literally like the I had one poem for my Spanish interview, but it was bulk was personal statement. Whereas German, I may as well have not written one. What was yours like?
So I had 4 interviews at 3 different colleges.
Oh, that's
and they
triggering.
were all so different. So with an archaeology interview, every single one I had me look at some artifacts or some pictures of artifacts on paper. And let's be honest, I had no idea what half of them were. And it took me a good 10 minutes to work out that it was an arrowhead. Like, hello. Was I okay? Clearly not. But it just goes to show you don't have to know everything for a start. If you muck up. But in terms of personal statement, I think the only one that was really personal statement heavy was my first one. And I say heavy, it was more that they were just picking out them to start a conversation because there's so much of a topic they could do, and they know you're nervous and they know you'll have looked over your personal statement, and quite often it's a calming thing to bring in
have
you've
something
already
that
done.
Yeah, a lot of the time, they will use it as a springboard. So when I say it was heavily based on my personal statement, they weren't just asking me to rehash my personal statement. They were challenging things on my personal statement that what I'd said and making me think about it and taking it beyond. But it was she would keep coming back to it and asking me something else. Yeah.
Would you please consider going vegan?
Oh gosh, this is about Oxford interviews, people. Oxford interviews. How did you approach the unseen extract? Okay, so fun story. One that I'm a bit bitter about this year because I am staying for interviews and I went to look at the modern languages timetable. I took a photo of it on my phone. Right. And above the German interviews, it says, please arrive 20 minutes early to prepare. Lecture room, whatever it was, I think it was B. Worst room ever. Still triggered. Can't even go in there anymore. Yeah, it was like lecture room B. Yeah, 20 minutes before interview for preparation, right? Right. So on mine last year, what it said was, if you've got an asterisk next to your name, you've got pre-reading. Did I have one? No. So, me being the fat nerd that I am, turned up half an hour early anyway, only to find out that I did have pre-reading.
Wow.
If I had not turned up early, I would have literally gone in without any pre-reading. My extract, first off, the title was in French. In a German interview, right, and I genuinely had no clue what was going on in this poem. Like, honestly, to this day, still don't understand it. If you get that sort of thing, what you need to do is just think, put down what you can. Be simple. The first thing I did was like, right, I've got no clue what's going on. I need to just sit here and be like, right, what is the basic poem about? What can I just grasp? How is it structured? How many stanzas does it have? What words don't underline so I can ask him? And I did like really basic stuff. I didn't start talking about grand overarching themes because that will come to you in the interview, like as he pushes you further. I literally put the most basic stuff down, which was such a good shout because when you start from the basics, you've got it down in front of you, you can start. And then as he pushes you, that's when you have to start thinking on your feet anyway. I only had 10 minutes, so it's not like I had much easier. It was in English actually. And that one I did do a bit more sort of like complicated, but it's because I identified with the poem a bit more. But I would say start with the basics first. Like, you don't go in without having the basics down on paper, like just the basic outline, because you know they're going to ask you that first. And if you've tried to be smart, they'll trip you up by you not knowing like the fundamentals of what is going on, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, say if you've got all this like really smart, intelligent stuff, and they just go, so summarize this passage for me in a minute. And you can't do that because you've been thinking about all these abstract ideas. Yeah. So I think start with the basics and just whatever time you've got, just keep building as much as you can, but don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, I had pre-reading for 2 of mine, and it wasn't like we didn't have poems. We just got a passage, and the hardest part about it was that, I mean, I haven't done archaeology before this or anthropology, and most people who apply don't have like that behind them already, because you just can't really do that at A-level.
No.
So for me, it was like, I don't know what this word means. Am I supposed to know what this word means? And it could have made me panic if I hadn't been like, no one's going to know what this word means. You just have to think everyone's in the same boat, and chances are they also have no idea either.
Yeah.
You just need to pick at what you can do.
Yeah. Play to your strengths. Yeah, I would say. And also, like, each tutor at each college will use a different piece of pre-reading, and each tutor at each college will have a different way that they want to do it. So my Spanish tutor, for example, I had a pre-reading the night before, and I had a pre-reading 10 minutes before the interview. For German, I was supposed to have none, and then had some people just have it when they get in the interview. Some people have it like half an hour before. Some people are allowed dictionary, some people aren't. Like, it just depends.
Yeah.
So I would say it's really dependent on the college, but it will say, hopefully, unless you're me, it will say on your interview timetable if you have pre-reading. Like, they won't just like spring it on you. And if you ever feel bad about life and you ever feel bad about your interviews, just remember that Miss Vars, V, just go watch her recent video, because she was late to her interview, got given the pre-reading that you were supposed to have half an hour before in the interview, and still got in.
Yeah.
So it's calm. It is calm. We've already answered that question. How often do you go clubbing? Like, literally like once a week. Not very often.
Don't talk about work experience.
Yeah, unless you're doing medicine.
Very applicable. So like, I did an archaeological dig
Yeah.
that's applicable. Medical experience is applicable. If not, like if you worked in the shop, just they don't.
The interview is academic. Like it's all about your subject. Don't deviate at all. Viola, how was your food? Amazing. So
I ate
good.
too much.
Yeah, as usual, we both did. Not good. How do you calm nerves? Now, I've got a number one tip for this. Be around people. Don't sit in your room. Obviously, like some people do like that.
A lot of people do that.
Calm.
That was not me.
Honestly, so before my interview, the night before my interview, I went out and saw some friends, like at another college, but then I got back and I just stayed in my room. I worked myself up and I worked myself up. And my interview went so badly, my German one, I thought. Like, I was so distraught. And the thought of having another interview the next day, like I didn't, thankfully, but if I have. And my mom was like, just go and make some bloody friends. Like, if you feel like you've not got in, at least go and get some friends out of the experience. Yeah. I made such good friends at interview. Like, they're still some of my closest friends now.
Me too.
And it calmed me down. And the second I walked into that common room and the second I found someone that studied German, I was like, how was your interview? And they were like, awful. I just felt like 100 bajillion times more relaxed because I was like, okay, I'm not the only one here. Everyone is struggling. It's fine. So I'd say number one tip is to not be alone, even if it's just being on the phone to your mom just before the interview, or like, keep yourself, like, don't shut yourself in your room and just like panic because it's not going to help.
I know when I went to Hartford, like there was a quiz on the first night and a lot of people didn't go because they were like, no, I need to work. And I just remember thinking, look, you've got 3 days in this beautiful city. If you're never going to be here again, you may as well
make the most of it.
Make the most of this free holiday. It's like actual Oxford accommodation with actual Oxford tutors in the halls with all of these other really intelligent people. You're not going to get that anywhere else, like for free. Anyway, you might be able to, like, if you went to Durham or whatever, but yeah,
I was like, enjoy the experience. After I had my 2 interviews, I was like, you know what, I don't care if I've got another one. I'm not doing any more work for it. I'll just go in and wing it. I was like, everyone that I know that I was friends with that got in, like, we're not in their room working anyway. There's about 2 people that I know now on the languages course that I didn't know, like, when we were applying because they were in their room working. But like everybody else, like we went to the Christmas market, we like played cards in the JCR, like we just chilled. And we all did better as a consequence, I think, because you know your personal statement, you've gone over it. You don't need to go over it again. And there's only so much you can do to prepare anyway. So actually the best thing you can do to prepare is keep yourself relaxed, you know?
Yeah, we may or may not have had miniature floor party when we thought we'd all finished. And then turns out I had an interview at 9:30 the next morning. Woohoo!
Mood.
Check the board though, because if I'd gone home without going to my last interview, I wouldn't be here now because I'm at the place where my like 3rd interview was.
Check the board. Live by the board. Die by the board. Until that board says you can go home, don't. And if it does say, check with someone. Be like, can I go home?
Because they do get it wrong sometimes.
Because it's all about the tutors. So the tutors send like a notice to the admissions office saying all of these candidates can go home. Just like double check.
I remember I was working Peter's interviews last year and I'm pretty sure someone got told to go home by the tutors, but they'd done it wrong and actually she was meant to still be here or something. Yeah, it was obviously stressful on her, but just keep checking and asking.
Definitely just keep asking. Like, honestly, when I had my first 2 interviews on the Thursday and I was here till Saturday and I had no interviews Friday, Saturday, but even at like 1 p.m. on Saturday when they put up all modern languages applicants can go home, I was like, we were all like, let's just go double check, like just be careful.
Emma, no, don't worry, you only get invited for 1 interview. Once you get there you find out if you've got more, and some colleges and some subjects will have like a compulsory 2nd or 3rd. Some just keep dishing them out and you really can't read into it. So some are pre-scheduled, so some subjects, I think like biochemistry maybe, like biology, you automatically have interviews at 2 colleges, like, and they're pre-scheduled before you get here. Some subjects like humanities, the tutors are a bit more ad hoc, and it's all just like shoved up on notice boards really randomly. You'll get sent, like one of my friends, literally, she got sent to like Lincoln, she got sent to like 3 different colleges, all within like so arbitrary. Sometimes you'll literally just get a text like an hour before, like, hey, you've got an interview. Like, I'm going to be a runner and I'm going to be texting people like,
X tutor has
Yeah.
decided that they want to send you here. The system here, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't work that great. It's just a bit unfair, I think, sometimes on the candidates, because everyone's just agonizing. Like, have I had too many interviews? Does that mean they're passing me around? I was like the other way. So I was like, I've had 2 interviews. That means that they either absolutely love me and are like, well, yeah, we want you.
And they're trying to find new players.
They're like, no, she's definite no. And I was like, for a month, I was literally like, they either hate me or they love me, and I don't know which one it is. Sometimes people will have like 5 interviews and end up at their first college. Sometimes people will have like 2 interviews and end up at the second college. Sometimes they're just sending people to other colleges for like standardization purposes to make sure. Don't bother. Just don't bother. Just do not bother. There's no point. We were all trying to read into it, and we were all spectacularly wrong.
You will try and read into it. That's just the nature of it. I remember, like, I was the first person from my sixth form to apply to OXBRIDGE. So, well, Oxford. Someone else applied at the same time as me to Cambridge.
Yeah.
But I got there having literally absolutely no idea what was going on. Like, I followed the geographers to the wrong side of Oxford before realising that's what I was doing. And I had to walk all the way back to central Oxford. Yeah, don't do that.
No.
Find out.
Please don't do that.
Find out who you're following before you go.
Definitely do.
But I don't even know what I was saying now. What was I talking about?
I don't know.
No, me neither. Sorry.
Well, Neve says, I'm coming to LMH tomorrow. Well, Neve, I will be on the front desk from 2 till 5. So if you absolutely say hey. With the say hey thing, I assume most people that are coming to LMH and watch my videos are probably watching this right now. So like, absolutely do say hey. If I run off and I'm like, sorry, I can't talk right now, please don't hate me. It's not like personal, but like, I don't want to be responsible for somebody missing an interview or anything like that. So I'm very excited to see you guys. But if I do run off, just come find me some other time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it. But I'll see you guys tomorrow if you're coming tomorrow. That would be really exciting. Yes,
unique.
Unique. Oh my God. Right. I am literally.
Both of us did unique.
I am so convinced that if I had not gone on unique, I would not be sat in this room right now.
100%.
Ironically, on unique, I was 2 rooms down from here.
What?
And now 2 years later, I literally live here. Like, I literally live here. And it is so because of unique. Like, it's so because
it is unique. Honestly the best thing I did to get in without
best decision I made. So useful. The tips are so useful. Makes Oxford seem so much more accessible. You meet amazing people. I'm still friends with people that are on uni. Like, you get really good stuff for your personal statement.
Yes, you
they
do.
see unique on your like thing anyway, and that's a flag. They're like, oh, definitely. Like,
it's actually harder to get into unique
than it is to get
Oxford.
Into Oxford. So if you get onto unique, I think it's you are statistically more likely to get into Oxford if you've been on unique. You're not like 100% guaranteed a place, but you will be much better equipped. But don't think that if you don't go on unique, you won't be able to, because it is for people like from disadvantaged postcodes. So it's just to make sure that perhaps people that can't go on like interview courses and things like that do get some sort of I would definitely recommend unique. Amazing.
Why does he want to know what I got?
What did you get in your GCSEs?
I got 10 A stars and an A, 11 A stars and an A.
What was the A in?
Maths.
Shocking. And they let her in. Can you believe it?
Oops.
Can you believe they let her in with 11 A stars and an A?
What are my maths? The best form of revision going.
So true. Come on. Should we have gone on interview courses? Literally no.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if anything, nowadays the tutors are a lot more aware of people that have been on them and that are like pre-prepared. So one of my tutors, who shall remain nameless, was basically saying how she can tell a candidate that's been overly prepared for an interview because they'll walk in, they'll shake the hand, they'll like sit in the right place, they know exactly what they're doing, and it's like, if anything, that just puts them off because they want to see how you think and not how someone else has told you to think, which is so you don't have to go on an interview course.
Absolutely not.
Oh God, no.
There's so many of them.
I'm coming to LMH on Tuesday for an interview. Oh my God, yes. Okay, this is going to sound really, really weird, but like, I can see your name on the list. So looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. On Tuesday? Your interview's on Thursday. But yeah, so good luck. Well, I'll probably be taking you to your interview, but good luck. It is weird, isn't it? Literally. Should you shake hands with the interviewer? I did not.
I don't know.
I had the most awkward situation. Ben was like, sit down. And there's like 8 chairs in his office.
Which one?
He was like, take a seat. And I just remember being like, where the fuck do I sit? Like, I had no clue. I was literally dying.
Oh, no, babe, your nose piercing can stay there.
Oh, don't. Like, if you've got tattoos, you've got nose, like, don't worry about it. They literally do not care about that. How to have a long distance relationship at uni. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the long distance ones were broken off rather promptly, but they
can't, like,
They
I'm
can
not gonna lie,
happen.
I was in a relationship until the final term of first year, and it wasn't particularly because of the distance that we broke up. It was more because I grew as a person, and you grow up when you're at uni, but like I know people who are still together. There's plenty of people who are still together. I wouldn't just like end things because you're going to uni.
Yeah. Oh my god, everyone's asking me now, like, when is my interview? It will be on the board. It's on the board in Dedicate Foyer.
Guys, do it the old-fashioned way.
Do it the old-fashioned way. I don't even. Am I allowed to tell?
Probably not.
Yeah, I feel like you'll be fine. I can see your name.
Because if they move them last
yeah,
minute, you'll all get
exactly.
stressed
I will be liable to be sued. So
yes,
yes, I will. You will find out your interview on the board in Dedicate Foyer when somebody takes you there, which they will as soon as you get there. So you'll see straight away.
I did one mock interview, only one.
I had one as well.
That was only because my school managed to like link up with the local private school just to help me get into Oxford because they had no idea what we were doing. And the private school managed to give me a 15-minute interview.
Mine was awful, my mock interview. They were like, so why have you picked your subjects? Like, what experience have you got? It was not
being funny, but most schools don't know what they're doing when they give you a mock interview.
Nope.
You just don't know what to expect. Like, you can practice it for confidence, but it changes every single time.
So true. Like,
it's
literally,
it's
one of those things that you just can't prepare for, I feel. Like, it's just impossible. Oh, that's a good question. Were you intimidated by other candidates? Actually, I think it might just be at my age, but like everyone was so calm. There was about one person that really intimidated me. And they were like going on about how amazing their interviews were, but they're not here now. So like, everyone was really sweet and everyone was in the same boat.
Yeah.
I like there's no point in you being intimidated because like you all deserve to be at an interview.
Exactly.
And there's nothing that is distinguishing you academically at this point, really. It's just whether you fit Oxford or not, whether the tutors think that you'll work well in that environment. So like you're just as capable as anybody else there.
Yeah, completely. Did you do anything? Yes, I did do an EPQ.
I did not, so that is proof that you Can you hear someone?
Yeah. This corridor's meant to be empty, just saying.
Hello? I don't like it being empty at all. It's kind of freaking me out.
At Oxford, the EPQ, it's beneficial mostly as a talking point and practice for writing essays on a completely independent basis. It's not beneficial in that it'll get you in at all, but honestly, it has probably been the most help to me being here, because with an EPQ, you have to do it all completely from scratch.
Yeah.
It trains you to think on your feet, to make a question yourself, to choose your readings yourself, and that's why it's been helpful. But like, and also I could talk about the books I'd read for my EPQ at interview.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good question.
But otherwise, no.
Do you get taken to every interview you go to, or do you have to find your own way there?
Mostly, yes.
If it's in college, you will definitely be taken. Sometimes, if it's at another college, if you want someone to walk with you, you can absolutely ask. So we were told, can you hear me?
Yeah, there's definitely a person out there.
Right, so we were told, I'm going to whisper so I can hear who it is. So we were told, like yesterday or the day before, whenever I had training, if a student wants to be taken to an interview in another college, or it's dark, somebody will take you.
Yeah.
But if not, they'll give you a map.
Is it an interviewee? Do you think?
It could be an interview.
I don't think it could be an interviewee. I'm a northerner. Sorry, I got excited then.
I think there might be an interviewee right outside.
Dear student. What?
I got an email from my tutor, like, here's all the stuff you...
Okay.
What are they doing? Who is it? Right, I've got to go see.
I'll occupy my live stream. I've not met Malala. No. Take us to... No, we don't know who it is. Where's the noise coming from? Are they downstairs? Like that room.
The door a little bit open because they're going to have to walk out at some point. I think it might be scouts.
Oh, scouts. It could be, but I don't know. It could be cleaners, but we're not sure. Not cleaners. They are human beings. They're, well, they might be good.
Foundation year students, it's Martha and...
They're foundation year students.
One
They're not
minute.
interviewees. How many candidates? I'm not. My EPQ was on.
I'm so confused.
My EPQ. What was my title? Oh my gosh. I think I was evaluate. Yeah, it was evaluate what we can learn about the Iron Age Britons from Greek and Roman sources. So essentially, I was looking into what we can learn about like the Celtic and the Pictish people in the Iron Age, and because what we know about them is from the Roman Greek sources. So I was evaluating what that means and like the biases and stuff. Yes. Yes.
Oh, this is long. This is a long email. Have a lovely break, a happy Christmas, a joyful new year, and some restful days of reading. There is nothing joyful about reading.
You should go to Wakanda. I'd love to go to Wakanda, to be quite honest.
Please
it looks like the best place possibly ever.
Do you know what I'm going to do for this? What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to mark this email as unread, and I'm going to deal with that tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye. That's my number one technique when I get an email that I don't like. I just mark it as unread.
No, I mean, a question's fine for an EPQ, but personally for me, I work better with like evaluate and discuss as my like command words, because it means that I can both talk about the topic and have a load of words on like criticisms. And this is someone else here now.
I don't like, right, I am the only person in this building right now. Like, I'm the only person in a room in this building. And
I'm from Stockport.
I don't like this. Right, sorry, back to interviews, because I'm really freaking out because I don't know what is going on. A lot of the foundation year students are staying there because they've obviously got interviews, so it's not haunted. I think it's just people. Right, oh, this is going so quick. Ah!
Oh, it is going quick.
Stop! Right. Best way to make friends, go to an interview. Go to the JCR or wherever the common place is. Go to any events that are emailed out. Go to any quizzes. I literally, this is like the most un-me thing ever, but my mom forced me to come down from my room and just walk into the JCR and go, hello. And I did it, and now I'm literally...
You just walked in and announced.
No, they were all sat around a table playing Cards Against Humanity, and I just walked in and went, hi. Whilst my mom was on the phone, she was like, I'm not hanging up until you said hi. And I did it, and like some of the girls that were sat at that table are now like my closest friends.
How to make an impression.
Just go, hi. I'm whatever your name is, and then just say it. Can you turn up at 9:30 in the evening? You can turn up whenever.
Whenever.
So basically, there'll be like at LMH, it works like this. There'll be people manning the interviews desk from like a certain time in the morning to a certain time in the evening. And if you arrive any later, the porters will just like the people that work here will just deal with you, and you'll get all of your paperwork with that. So I got here at 8 or something. I got here really late, and it literally was exactly the same process as.
So fine.
You can get here literally. I'm pretty sure some people are getting here tonight. Like,
yeah, they will be. And international students tend to get here on Saturday as well.
So
as long as it's the night before your interview, not like
the day of. Yeah, please don't turn up at 8:30 p.m. when your interview's at 9 a.m. That would not be ideal. Is there a curfew? No, you can do what you want. It's recommended that you don't leave the college by yourself. But you can do what you want.
Like we went. What did we do? We went for like walks and stuff.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Where were you when you found out you had an interview? I was in the car on the way home from school.
I was in the Arndale shopping centre in Manchester.
Love that.
And I was so surprised that I'd got an interview that I went and spent a lot of money on shoes.
I had a Chinese for tea.
Oops.
That scary noise from down a dark corridor. White girl walks down that corridor. That's so true.
Yeah, you know it.
How did you... Oh, no, we've lost that question. That was a good question. How did you prepare and what would you do differently now? I literally would not do anything differently because evidently it worked. So I would say I read through my personal statement. I read some like Spark notes on the text. I sort of wrote down my own ideas. I watched loads of YouTube videos about how to do a good interview. Watched loads of like YouTubers, like these guys, like watched those. Went through like just the notes that I got from school. Just practiced talking to myself a little bit about things and articulating my thoughts.
I talk to myself anyway.
And the only thing I wish I'd done more is just like calmed, but it's really difficult to say what calmer because at the time it's just such a big thing.
I mean, you are just, even if you don't feel stressed, you're subconsciously stressed.
So stressed. When I got home, I was literally ill for like so long after that.
Because it's draining. Like it's a new experience. A lot of people haven't left home before. Like the only reason I'd travelled and stayed over by myself was because of Unique.
Yeah.
It's a daunting experience, and you can't expect to be comfortable immediately with stuff like that.
No, you definitely can't. Like even if people look really calm, no one's calm.
Won't be. Yeah.
It's a really stressful experience, but you can make the most of it if you just make friends and just make sure you surround yourself with people that don't make you feel like rubbish, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to change your opinion in interviews? It is encouraged.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you get challenged on a point, don't completely concede straight away and be like, oh, you're the tutor. You must be right. Like, you are definitely right. But also, don't stick to it stubbornly to the point where you're not flexible to new ideas. So I said something in response to that Argentinian madness question I was talking about earlier. And she sort of questioned me. And I argued back for a couple of responses, and then eventually I was like, oh no, like actually, and I was like, oh well, if you see it the way that you're seeing it, you could say, and I extended it but with my own, rather than just being like, you're right. Yeah, I changed my opinion, but I didn't just accept her opinion. I kind of added my own spin on her opinion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, completely.
Definitely do not feel afraid. In fact, there were some girls at my school I know in a couple of years above that got feedback that the reason they didn't get it is because they stuck too much to their own opinion and were not willing to accept that they might not be right, like, basically. So yeah, I know a lot of international students. It depends on the college, but most colleges, so like most of my friends here are international students, so definitely it's not possible to sneak into Oxford just for the bands, I'm afraid.
Nice try though.
How was your Spanish interview? Actually, really lovely. I had such a bad German interview that anything was going to be good in comparison. But my Spanish interview was actually, apart from the fact that there was another person in the room and it was just me, which is a lot like my tutorials are now. Obviously, I'm a lot more relaxed now. And even my tutor was like, on the first day at Fresh as Formal, she was like, it's so nice to see all the people that I've picked just so much more relaxed and seeing the real you. But it was really nice. It was like the fire was on, it was warm, it was wholesome, it was beauts. And I actually really enjoyed my Spanish interview. And I came out thinking, even if I haven't got a place, which I was so convinced I hadn't, I felt like maybe I've not made a complete fool of myself. Yeah. Inception. Love that. Can interviews go on longer than the usual 20 minutes? Did yours or were yours both 20 minutes? But were yours all 20 minutes?
They really don't.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, like they're not gonna stick to a specific schedule.
They won't kick you out at 20 minutes past.
No. It depends if they think they finished.
My German one was like literally 20 minutes bang on, I think. It felt like a year. Whereas my Spanish one, that must have run over by at least 25 minutes. We were chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting. So no, there's one thing I would like to say about the Oxford interview process is that there is literally no hard and fast format, rule, setting, experience. Like every college is different, every tutor is different, every subject is different. Like nobody will have the same interview experience. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. So can interviews get heated? Well, I'm going to find out who the fuck this is.
What do you mean by heated? Like argumentative? I wouldn't argue with the tutor. You're probably just setting yourself up to fail by like.
They're in the kitchen.
I honestly, the only reason I applied to Hertford was because I was going to apply to St John's and I was told that I wouldn't get in because it was too posh for me, which is utter balls, to be quite honest. Like, it really wouldn't have mattered, but yeah, I applied to Hertford because one, they offered a scholarship for my subject and I need all the money I can get, and also it had a much higher percentage of state school students. But I wouldn't read into that at all. That was just, I mean, I had nothing else to go off. Did you read up on the tutors? No, but other people had when I got there, and I would 100% recommend it because if you bring up stuff that they're interested in, the conversation will flow better. How did I meet Eve? Through the internet. I mean, I vlogged Oxford before she got here, so she'd watched my videos, and then we're a little study tube crew now. Yeah. There are so many questions. I'm not used to this many people. What do I study? Archaeology and anthropology. Oh, there's so many people from Stockport on here. What? This is mental. A-levels, I got, what did I get? A-star in geography, A-star in general studies, A in sociology, A in textiles, and an A-star in my EPQ. What made me choose Oxford? Basically, I was going to go to Manchester because it was close to home, and they did Arcanant, which is the same as the one at Oxford, and I got my GCSE results, and basically my mum, when we were scrolling through the courses and I saw that Manchester does it, my mum just like looked at the screen and just laughed and was like, well, that's not going to happen. So kind of at that point I was like, I'll show you, yeah, and I did. Why not Cambridge? Not gonna lie, it just looked a bit posher from the website. That is the only reason. What? Oh my goodness. There's so many questions. General questions. I mean, I did get asked why Oxford, and I told them the exact same thing I just told you. Straight answer. I wasn't like, oh, state of the art, blah, blah. I was like, well, someone told me I couldn't do it. I showed them. Miss you too, Viola. Please come back. I'm a small YouTuber. Me too, Gracie. Me too. The best part about being at Oxford is that you are around so many like-minded people here. Like, everyone wants like an intellectual chat. And you can just, at the dinner table, you just get like back and forth conversation. It's so good. Oh, and the history of the building. It's incredible. Like, I'm still not used to it. I'm like sat in OMH. Like, I look outside and I'm like, what? How did I manage this? This is insane. Like, it's ridiculous. It's kind of imposter syndrome, I guess, but. What's my YouTube? It is Rosie Crawford. Or Just a Little Rue is my Instagram, and it's also the same on my YouTube. How do I manage workload and stress? Okay. I have a lot of like study with me videos where I don't think I go quite into like how stressful I find it, but I do show you my workload. So
this term has been the least stressful for me. Last year, I got so stressed because like the jump was just ridiculous. It was 3 A levels is so enough. That's all you need. What was I saying? Oh my god, I get distracted so easily. Another person from Stockport. What? I did a lot of time on my EPQ because I'm a perfectionist. No, you don't need much work experience. Yes, Eve is in the background. She's talking to the ghost. Do you have any more interview questions, anyone? / any question? Oh yeah, there's loads of Mancunians. A lot of them went to like Manchester Grammar though, so you get a lot of posh Mancunians, but also a lot of not posh Mancunians. Why did I choose my course? I just kept going between different like ologies. So like I was like, oh, I'll study rocks, I'll do geology. Realized you had to have physics, not for me. And like I just like history, and I did sociology and geography at A level, and they just seemed to gel with it really. So favorite subject at high school, probably geography and textiles. I love art, like I can sew for days. Hate to blow my own trumpet, but yeah, I can't. What do I want to do after my studies? I'm in my final year now, so I'm taking a year out and working because I need to earn money to do a master's in forensics because I want to be a forensic archaeologist, which is basically the one who like digs at the crime scene. What to wear? Once again, just go in what you're comfortable in. I wouldn't wear joggers because like the tutors they won't judge, but they might subconsciously like, you know what I mean? Like smart casual. So I wore, what did I wear? Like a shirt. I say a shirt. It's like a blouse and of course. Should you take anything into your? I would take water, yeah, because it calms you down. And a pen. Can I? Yeah, of course you can get into Oxford if you're from a state school. So Eve went to a state school, I went to a state school, Viola went to a state school. Just look, yeah. Do not let that stop you. Like I said, I was the first person from my sixth form to apply to Oxford. I'm from a state school in the Northwest. There's not like statistically the best amount of us who get in, but we can do it. You're never going to do it if you're not going to try. Like if you put it on your application form, what are you going to lose by putting it there? Let's be honest. They'll just like they could reject you, but you're not gonna like lose anything. You could still go anywhere else in the country that's amazing, or the world for that matter. Personal statement advice. I've done a whole video on this, as have a lot of other YouTubers. So just go to my channel, which is if you type in Rosie Oxford personal statement, it'll come up. What's realistic? Did you know about the Oxford? I did not know about the MUN conference, but I did do an MUN conference in year 9, and I won 2 awards. Not that you care. Mock interviews are only an advantage if it's going to boost your confidence. Like, they know that not everyone's got the opportunity to do that, so I wouldn't worry too much. I saw one about archaeology somewhere and I can't find it. Whoever sent the question about archaeology, please send it again. We're in the Northwest, Manchester. I'm extremely nervous. Everyone will be nervous, babe. Don't worry about it. Like, honestly, it's a fact of like, you're going to be nervous if you're in a new environment and if you're applying for something and everyone is nervous. Just don't like lock yourself away, because that will just make it bubble up so much and you'll get more and more anxious. Just try and stride through it, eat well, stay hydrated, talk to people. Things to see in Oxford during your interviews. That is actually such a good question. So go to the Christmas markets. amazing. Go. I think they start on the 7th of December, so I'm sorry if you guys don't make it in time. What else? What else is free? Go up St Mary's Tower. So that costs £4, but it is the best view of Oxford you're going to see. Yeah, I would 100% recommend that. I only did that the other day.
Sus guys.
What were you doing?
So basically, turns out it wasn't a weird, freaky witch. It was actually two of the foundation year students here who were just looking around the rooms because they wanted to see, whilst they could, what their first year rooms might be like.
Oh, that's cute.
So I was like, come to Waltham West. It's great here. We love it. Sorry, hi. I really feel bad that I just totally...
Oh, it's so fine. I just commandeered it.
That's great. We love Rosie taking the wheel and sorting this out.
Don't worry if you can't answer a question. They're all new questions. Like,
if you actually have an interview where you can answer all the questions, that's not really a good sign. I'm not gonna lie.
They've been too easy.
They want to push you. Oh man.
A lot of people have asked about GCSEs.
You don't. There's no hard and fast formula. And me and my friend, like, we both got in for languages, and we literally have such different GCSE results. Like, it's. I don't even think they're that relevant anymore. Like, they are relevant, obviously. Like, do well, but don't worry about them too much because these days it's just not really.
Like, it would help to have A's.
Yeah,
I know people from interview who had A's, B's, and
B's
C's.
and C's, exactly. So do not worry about that. Oh, my phone is going off on one.
Did she say that's almost it?
No, it's German.
Oh, it's German.
Eve, can you say interviews at the end or your offer is based on that alone? No, literally, it's such a holistic process. So, like, you have your written work, you have like test results, you have your personal statement, you have your grades, you have references, and you have interviews. Like, it's so not like it obviously it's a big part, but it's not. No, like
no, not at all. I mean, I didn't have to do an entrance exam. Instead of an entrance exam, I had to submit 3 written essays from my different subjects. So they went off those. They've gone off my personal statement, and the interview for me was more of like having to prove that I came across how I did in my other stuff.
I agree. Do you have to pass? Oh, are you allowed to ask in the interview how I did? And she says, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna lie. Because like I still don't know. I know that I did well in my German one because I'm exempt from grammar classes this year. But I don't know how I did in my Spanish one, and I don't really want to know. But you'll get it sent to you in January. A lot of subjects do send it. I did. I never got mine, but I don't really care. How far is LMH from the train station? Far. Get a taxi. Okay, like literally.
It took me 20 minutes. It's not bad.
Right. Okay. Right. So
I mean, it's far, but it's not.
I came to LMH with Unique, carried my suitcase here.
Oh, you
sweating.
carried it the whole way.
Sweating. Oh my god, awful. What did I do when I got to interview? Walked all the way from the train station again with a suitcase, and it was just a bad decision. The actual walk to the train station, not that far, literally 25 minutes max.
If you're carrying stuff.
But if you're carrying stuff, would recommend a taxi. Especially if it's dark.
It's a £5 from the station.
Yeah, £5. Like, I would just get a taxi, I'm not going to lie to you.
Are other universities good? Yeah, obviously. Oxford's just glorified.
Yeah. I applied to LMH, but I got moved to Merton for interview. Does this mean anything? No. Again, a lot of the time, actually, like I heard, which I didn't know, it's literally, if you get moved before interview, a lot of the time, if they've just got oversubscribed, they will literally just cream off the top. They'll just split.
They'll
just share you out without any. A lot of the time, they're not sending you off already. Like, they just have too many applicants to physically interview. So,
you might find once you get here that
you have an interview back at LMH. Like, if they want you, they'll keep you, but they can't keep everybody for the first bit. Should you ask who your interviews are before going to your interview? Literally no. And definitely don't try to read into what they're interested in and try and talk about that, because literally just don't do that. Like, just don't do it. Like, there's no point, because your interview is not going to be on that. and like I had no clue who mine were before. I knew what they looked like because I'd found their pictures online, but I didn't read like.
I didn't even do that.
I don't even know anything about 1930s German film, and I wasn't sure as hell wasn't in the 2 days that I was here going to research. There's no point.
For the humanities ones, it's probably more beneficial than
For sciences,
than for anything else, but not like I said before. Oh my gosh, sorry. I said before that a lot of people had done that, like on my corridor when I was interviewing, and it was a little bit intimidating that they knew all about these tutors and were like all excited to see specific tutors, and I had no idea what's going on.
It's a little bit stalkerish, I'm not gonna lie.
A little bit. Like the only thing you're gonna get out of it, which might calm you down, is if you can match something you have already on your personal statement.
Yeah, I mean,
but
yeah.
like, don't
Not
go
the be
and
all and end all at all.
research,
Like,
they're not going to ask you about it. Probably.
nope. Literally, there is like honestly, if anything, they will deliberately avoid talking about their area of research to make sure that no one's disadvantaged.
They might ask your opinion.
Yeah,
but
they could
not
do,
like what you
but they
know.
won't ask about what you know because they literally have done like books on this thing and you have not. Oh, how many people interviewed you? That's a good question. I had for German, I had my tutor, my German tutor, and this random other woman who I've never seen since. And she literally just asked me, she was making notes throughout, but she asked me the 5 minutes in Spanish, no, in German at the end.
Yeah.
For Spanish, I had my Spanish tutor and this other guy who I know who he is, and like I've seen him around, but like he just sat and made notes and nodded and he didn't say a word. Whereas other people in my Spanish group had him interviewing and John just sitting and nodding and not saying a
We've
word.
done shifts. What was mine? So I had 2 people in every interview that I did. So in the whole time I was here, I had interviews with, oh my god, I've just told you I can't do maths. This is not a hard sum. 2 times 8. 2 times 4 is 8, kids. 8 different tutors, and some of them paid more attention than others. Some joined in more than others. One in particular was wearing like completely corduroy.
Oh, that's just stressful.
And just like stared.
That's really not cute.
And the only time he spoke was to tell me that I was wrong. When he said, "What's this?" and he was pointing to like an amphora vase, and I was like, "Oh, it looks Greek," and he was like, "No, it's Roman," and I was like, "Sorry."
Ouch. Not ideal. Gosh. I'm trying to think what's a good question. What activities do you do when you're not in interviews? It depends on the college. So, for example, at LMH, so each night, 3 runners are just put in charge of entertainment.
Yeah, we do the same at Peter's.
So they'll just do whatever. So last year we did a treasure hunt, we did a quiz. Some nights we just played Cards Against Humanity in the JCR.
Yeah.
One night we went to the bar.
We have films on.
They watch films, things like that. It depends on the college. Right, we'll go for 3 more questions. I think we should probably end this because it's been an hour.
And
So,
people are still watching.
I don't know how I've
Mad.
still got so many viewers, but ask your questions now if you've... Oh, good reasons to give for why you chose a college. There is a very, very, very low likelihood that we'll ask you that in the interview. If
Good
anything,
reasons to give. Yeah, no,
they won't ask you because A, you might not have chosen the college, you might
Yeah.
get pulled. B, if they ask some people that and didn't ask other people the same thing, like,
Yeah.
honestly, nobody. The only person that has actually asked me that was Alan himself.
Oh, okay.
The principal asked me on our meeting in first week, why did you choose LMH?
In fact, you know what? My maths college master might have asked the same thing, and I've been like, I didn't.
Yeah, it's a bit like,
But
honestly,
it doesn't.
nobody will ask you, and if they do, they won't choose that as a defining point. Is there a set time of the day when all interviews end? Yeah, kind of like around 6 o'clock.
Yeah, about 6.
You're not going to expect an interview after about 6:30, and you will get given usually about 2 hours notice before an interview.
Yeah.
So if it gets to sort of like, I'd say about like 5:30, 6:30, and you are still not hearing anything, triple check with your tutors, check with the runners, be like,
Yeah.
do you think there's any chance that there'll be any more interviews today? If they even have the slightest doubt, stay in college. But I didn't see any interviews after 6:30
No.
because the tutors need to sleep. Like admissions,
They need to go home.
Admissions is exhausting for tutors as well. Like not just for because you have one interview in the day, they have like how many candidates? Then they have
So
those
many.
meetings in between interviews with the tutors to try and discuss.
Yeah.
That's it's not cute.
By the way, I'm watching the questions. I'm not just scrolling through my
Is it harder for international students to get in? No, I don't think so.
not at all.
Everyone's given fair. Doesn't matter where you're from at all. Like, that's really just not a thing.
You might feel like it's harder because you're so far away,
but a Skype interview, you're no less likely to get in.
You're on the same playing field.
Exactly. They absolutely don't care about that at all.
I've never been to Brasenose. Nope.
Brasenose is all right. Would you meet up with subscribers here if interview? So basically with this, like, yes, but I am working. So like I am getting paid by the college and I'm contracted by the college. So you can't come into my room for a cup of tea. I can't come into your room for a cup of tea. And like if I'm working, and if I'm working, I can't just leave to see people. But like I'm not working all the time, so I'm sure we can arrange something. I'm gonna figure something out. Yeah. I was thinking maybe doing a meetup, but then because the interviews are all staggered, there's not one day that everyone's. I'm on the case. I'm thinking about it.
For archaeology interview advice, just go to my channel because it's
go watch Rosie's videos.
I have quite a bit.
Yeah, you will have absolutely loads. Did you specifically apply for LMH? I did. Everybody always thinks that you don't for LMH. I think everyone's always thinks you've been pulled here.
I feel like now that's completely changing.
Oh
LMH
my God.
is honestly it is probably the best. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a real up and coming college. Like literally, I was just saying to the girls out in the corridor that this year alone, the number of applications has increased by 83%. So it's nearly doubled. And people are starting to realise hey, LMH is actually quite a cool place. And more now, I was actually talking to some of the third years and quite a lot of them were pulled, but our year, there were very, very, very few people that didn't.
Because they're so good at social media. They're so good at ethnic minority access. Just access in general at LMH is incredible.
They're just so transparent. They're welcoming. They're friendly. They're
way ahead of everyone else.
It's quite a lot, yeah. So is it bad applying to an oversubscribed college? Literally, I know that people think that this is not true, but it literally does not matter. If you are worthy of a place, you will get a place. The system works in magical, mysterious ways, but it will always be the top percentage of candidates that will get the places. Say if they have a really good cohort at LMH, for example, 1 year, but they don't have as good a cohort at Peters, the girls from LMH that don't, or the guys from LMH that will just get sent over to St. Peter's. The people at St. Peter's, everybody across the uni is directly compared with each other. It's not college specific.
A lot of the people from the big private schools that I've spoken to about this have said they applied to Peters because people don't apply to Peters, and that's what they're taught at their schools. But I don't really think there's much truth in it.
So not true. Honestly, if you're meant to be here, you'll get a place. I know it sounds so stupid, and I didn't believe this before I got in. But the tutors know. The tutors know who is meant to be here and who is not. Literally 99.9% of the time they pick the right people. Yeah. Some people, do struggle here and they do decide to leave, but they just I'm so sure now that they really just can spot I don't know what it is they spot, but they've got a skill. They've got a skill, and there's just that if you are meant to be here, you will get
it's the enthusiasm. Yeah. I did it was a mock tutorial with my tutor. I was playing the student. This was on an open day, and then people could come in and experience
I
the
went
tutorial.
to watch one of those at St. Peter's actually.
And what our tutor said at the end of that was basically they're looking for people who they want to work with for the next 3 years.
Because exactly.
Who they get on with, who respond to their teaching and their talking, and so again, you can't read into that at all.
Yeah, if you don't get a place, in a way, I feel I would have been literally gutted.
Oh yeah, same.
But at the same time, it's meant I can't say it's meant to be. That's so cheesy. Do you know what I mean?
You will flourish.
You will flourish wherever you go, and if they feel like you're not going to flourish here, then
completely.
Then that is actually Is it true that Christchurch is 70% independent, 30%? I'm pretty sure
think
it is.
Yeah. It
So
might be slightly
I
less
know
now,
the
actually.
uni-wide statistic. So uni-wide, it's 50% private school, 50% state. Even though only 9% of the country go to private school, which is a real problem.
This is true.
But it is a lot better than it used to be. It's on the way down.
You know what? It is like 68, 32 or something.
It's not great. I think, yeah, even at LMH, which is quite state school heavy, there's still solidly there's a lot of people who went to private school.
Mansfield is like 80% state school.
Yeah, some are really state school heavy. Wadham as well has got quite a state school rep, and some of them have got very private school rep. But again, people get pulled, people get shifted. It depends on the sort of.
Wait, is Manny here?
Manny, we miss you too. Oh my gosh. Right, let's one more question, because then I am done with this. I'm so tired. Okay, let's think. One that will really be useful
that we haven't answered
already. Come on. Somebody ask a really good question about interviews.
People have joined like halfway through.
Yeah. I'm at home, Ross. I would have loved to join you. We'll be back tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Someone asking a really good question. I feel like I just need that one that's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good one. Biggest interview regret. I think that's a nice way to end it.
I don't know.
If you were to go back in time and do your 3-4 days here again, is there something that you wish that you'd have done?
I honestly had the best experience during my interviews, and I think that is partly down to the fact that I had no expectations of myself. Like, I went there without this bar of thinking, right, this is like your destiny, this is where you've got to go, everyone's thinking you've got to do this. It was more, no, my expectations are I'm gonna have a good time in this beautiful city with like-minded people, and I wouldn't change that for the world. My biggest regret is once I got there, allowing myself to compare myself to these people who have been like preparing for it for years and who have decided like when they're 10 that they're going to go to Oxford.
Yeah.
And because a lot of these people, like most of them weren't like this at all, but there were a few who were walking around with their books and like wearing like suits and stuff, and you know, like making comments. But there was like 2 people who were doing this. And my regret was that I let those 2 people get under my skin, and I just should not have done that. Oh, I'm sorry, Grace. I'm not, but I am here. I had to turn down my job offer because I had a lot of dissertation to write. I'm sorry.
What is my piece? Okay, my number one interview regret. I think that this really is not something that I could have solved because it's all within retrospect, is exactly what you just said, being like, this is make or break. So I think I hadn't decided that I wanted to go to Oxford when I was 10. I actually only decided on Oxford like a few months before I applied.
Yeah, same.
But I knew that I wanted to apply to like big uni, and I very much let like the pressure of what everybody at school was expecting of me and how everybody on YouTube was expecting of me, like, play on my interview experience. And my other biggest regret is just not going and making friends the first night. So I'd say, that is my 2. So make friends and don't have any expectations and enjoy Oxford. Enjoy the place. Enjoy the Christmas markets and just enjoy it. Soak up the city because it's so nice at Christmas.
I personally think that one of the most beautiful places.
It's my favourite place in the world now. Like, I love it here.
I actually would say that, to be honest. Like, I don't think I could live here in the future.
No, but I
because
love
I'll be
living
scarred from like all the work I have to do now. But it is absolutely stunning. And even if you're only here for 3 days in your life,
enjoy it.
Yeah.
treat it as like a city break.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
got your meals paid for, free accommodation,
Stunning.
free transport. I think you can
Yeah.
apply for now as well. So
All in all, it's a free holiday. So with a bit of trauma in the middle, but free holiday.
mhm.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This ended up being a lot longer than we planned.
Oh, well.
But I felt like I'm going to keep it on my channel because I think it'll be useful.
Yeah, no, it definitely will.
So hopefully you've learned something from this. All I would say is that you really just can't fully prepare. It will go how it goes. If in January, on January the 9th, you get a rejection, honestly, it will be rubbish, but you will pick yourself up and you'll move on. If you do get in, congratulations. I'm looking forward to seeing you next year. If somebody had told me this time last year, I'd be sat here in a room 2 doors down from where I stayed on Unique, giving a live stream on how to get into a uni that I'm now studying at. I would be laughing at you. I thought my interviews went so badly, like so badly. And look, here I am.
Ta-da.
So be positive. Good luck. If you're at LMH, I will see you definitely. Be sure to say hello. If I'm taking you to an interview, please do not just not say anything. Like
blank her.
Be
I
like,
dare you.
be like, hey, I watch your
Blank
videos.
her completely.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. See you later. Good luck.
Good luck.
Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye, 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 bye.